ladies and gentlemen. Today, our opposition have the stance that basic human rights is what is urgently needed. Before I move on to my arguments, I would like to state three main rebuttals towards the government. First of all, the government claimed that it will state this debate in Africa and by the US aid. However, we say that why do we need to state this debate in Africa? Because in social studies, we learned that in Brazil, where the Amazon forest is, that contributes to 10% of the world's oxygen, and that is the biggest rainforest the world has. Then why do we need to debate in Africa, where the climate is dry and there is much less rainforest than in Latin America? But however, we are good debaters, and we will accept this challenge as based in Africa. And the second rebuttal is towards the government's claim that towards the government mechanism that they will provide aid in Africa. However, we say that the government fails to create this mechanism clearly. First of all, what kind of aid will be given? Is it financial? Is it infrastructural? Secondly, how would this aid lead to environmental protection? After the split, how would this aid lead to environmental protection? The government side did not prove to us why giving this money will create to environmental awareness and it will lead to decrease in deforestation. And how long will this money will be given? Because money is limited, and if you give money to these people, you have limited amount of money in your pocket in the United States. It's not infinite. Therefore, we say that if you keep on giving this money, once they will run off, you didn't state the time frame that you will give this money. Therefore, you say that you're making these people in the developing world, in Africa, depend on this money and not have a chance to develop by themselves and to be self-reliant and to stand on their own feet and to develop by themselves. And that is what people need. And education, the third rebuttal, which is not feasible in Africa because 55% of the people in Africa is illiterate. Only 35% can read and write. And that is a small percentage of the population. Therefore, education will not work in this case because you haven't set up schools that will provide enough education in the first place. You only go in and step there and teach the students about environment, but only 35% will receive this. And the government, the local African government would not let you do this because they would not want you to interfere with their educational system. However, our mechanism, I will explain later, will give the actual schools, will increase the number of schools. That means that infrastructure will be able to be owned by the local government, and I will explain that later. First of all, my split. As the first speaker, I will speak about how our mechanism of aid in condition of labor rights, improvement in labor rights, will benefit all parties at the end of the day. Secondly, my second speaker will talk about how there is an urgent need to improve human rights in the region at this moment. Any POI?
The education is given to the farmers, not the students.
If the education is only given to farmers, what about the children who will grow up and get a chance to be farmers also, so they will not know anything about environmental? And therefore, we will say that at the end of the day, your mechanism will not solve anything, will not inform people, and will not make people aware of environmental protection, anything. Okay, first of all, the local government, the donor government, the US government would want to give this aid. Firstly, because it wants to give development aid in the first place, and secondly, it wants to make sure that that aid is sustainable and that it will last long term. First of all, our mechanism is that we will give conditions that will have labor rights, increase in labor rights. Why labor rights? Because labor rights is more important than environment in this case. Why is that so? Because we need to eliminate the barriers of people towards understanding of environmental problems. That barrier is the empty stomachs of the people, the low income rate, underrated wage of the people, and unsafe environment in the workplace, and the increase in child labor in Africa. Because first of all, 36.2% of the population is suffering under on less than $2 or less than 80 baht a day for salary. And moreover, 250 million child labor is present in Africa. And that is a huge concern because these children will not get to have education about environmental problems. And therefore, without eliminating these barriers created by low human rights and low standard of labor rights inside Africa, first, you will fail to increase the awareness of environmental problems at the end of the day. And secondly, we will give infrastructural aid. What does that mean? We will give three things. We will give schools. We increase the number of schools in the region. And then after the schools are established, we will make that school owned by the local community so they can develop their own curriculum. Secondly, roads. We will give them roads to go to work and generate income for their families in the end of the day. Hospitals. We will give them health care so they would live longer and have more efficient and can work more efficiently. The local government would desperately need this aid because they will have incentive. Then after this aid, then they will have incentive to force the MNCs to improve the labor standards in the country. Therefore, when this labor standard is raised, then this aid will be given, and when this aid is given, it will raise the standard of the quality of the people. Without our mechanism, we give money to the people right away and no incentive for them to study. Then the people don't become not aware of the environmental because they don't have incentive to do so because now they have money in the government's case. However, for the locals, we will give them sustainable way of development by giving these infrastructures. Therefore, at the end of the day, our mechanism will provide higher standard of labor to the people, which leads to better livelihood of the people through specialization of the people by creating education and higher wage, higher income, and more efficiency of the workplace because the workplace is now safe. And infrastructural aid will create educated people. We create high quality people that can specialize and industrialize the nation at the end of the day. Therefore, we create safe workplace, healthy people, we create educated people. All this will lead to a stable nation that will be attractive to foreign investment. And therefore, our mechanism is the best way to go. And therefore, we are winning this debate. Thank you.